Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel, guys. So we're often on this channel talking about protective products that you can use for your car, like paintwork protections, glass, alloy wheels, rubber and plastics and trim, even the leather kind of seats. There's a protection product for it. But perhaps one of the most important protective products that we never talk about is preventing your car from rusting. In this video, we're going to be looking at a new product from Bilt Hamber called Atom-Mak that is exactly for that purpose. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Good to see you. So we're talking about something a little bit different today, and that is Bilt Hamber Atom-Mak, which is a play on the words of atomic, if you hadn't realised. What is this stuff, guys? Well, it is a rust corrosion inhibitor, water-based. So it's a product that you mix down with water that is there to prevent rust from occurring in the first place. Note, the important thing, it is not a rust treatment product which kind of converts rust, like your cure rusts for rust that's already set in. It is a rust prevention system. Next thing about this product is that it's a migratory product. And what the hell does that mean? Does it you put it on a plane and it flies off somewhere else? No, what migratory means with protection product is that the rust inhibitors that are in this product transfer themselves into the ferrous material that you spray this onto. So it's not some sort of protective product like you put on car paintwork, which just sits there and sort of cures off and provides like a barrier. It doesn't work like that. It migrates into the ferrous components, puts the rust inhibitors in them, and helps to prevent those components from actually forming rust and oxidizing in the first place. So it's more preventative than a treatment system for components that have already rotted. I'm probably going to end up saying that about 500 times in this video, but there you go. Let's move on to how much it costs. This particular product costs $14.95 for 300 ml. This 300 ml bottle here. It costs £39 for a litre of the bottle, and it costs £159. What? For 5 litres of the product. So straight away, most people are going to be buying this bottle. So $14.95 for this 300 ml bottle. Does that sound expensive to you? Well, it does on the surface of it. But let's get through to how you use this. It's a concentrated product like all Bilt Hamber products. You typically will use this by mixing it down with water at 2 to 5%, I believe they say on the instructions, between 2 to 5%. So if you have 1,000 millilitres of water, you'll put in between 20 millilitres and 50 millilitres. So let's say 30 millilitres, you know, somewhere in the middle, which will give you a good amount of strength. Although you might want to use it at the top kind of recommendation of 5%. But at 3%, this little bottle is going to therefore require you to put 30 mils into 1 litre. So you're going to be able to make 10 litres of of product. So the cost per litre of this product to you is around about £1.50, if my maths is correct. And it will make you around about 10 litres of product. So suddenly, guys, you think initially $14.95 for a small bottle, so it might sound expensive, but it's £1.50 a litre. If Bilt Hamber, anyone that knows them and uses them, their products are very, very well priced, and this is no exception. If they're trying to make money out of you, what they do is they pre-mix it down, sell it at the ready-to-go ratio of 5%, where it's actually 95% water, and sell you that for a tenner instead. But they don't do that. You've got enough here. If you treat your car, say, once every 3 to 6 months with it, this one bottle is going to last you years and years and years and years and years, isn't it? Maybe 10 years, something like that. Yeah, potentially, because you'll probably use about 500 ml, no more, depending on how much you spray. So that's the value box ticked, as always, with Bilt Hamber. Next thing I want to cover in this video is where you'd use this, guys, and primarily it's, you know, the top of the car, the bits that you will see, a lot of that is kind of protected, and you know, there's no kind of exposed metal. It's typically, if you look underneath the car, you're going to see lots of components which are not there to be aesthetically pleasing, and sometimes they can just be mild steel components, you know, like your exhaust, various little clamps, even little bolts and bits like that. If you've had a car that's like older than, you know, 5-10 years old or even older, and it's you know, taken it to a garage and it's up on the ramps, you'll see a lot of the components underneath have kind of, you know, started to corrode and things like that. So the underneath of the car is the prime candidate of where you can use this treatment system. But also in the wheel arches, you know, the brake hubs, you can spray this onto your brake discs and it will help prevent the brake discs from kind of you know, corroding and stuff like that. But around the brake hubs as well, where it's an area you can see, it looks horrible when you've got kind of rust building up on there. It will help prevent it there. You know, unpainted brake calipers, stuff like that. Suspension components that are ferrous based, that could normally rot. You know, any bolts that are in the suspension components and all that sort of stuff. If it's metal, it moves. You know, you even sometimes see kind of brake hoses with little steel caps on the end of them that the things rot. In engine bays, you'll see components that can be prone to rotting. The one I'm thinking of is on the old Busso engines, you used to get engine mount brackets that were right by the edge. So when you're pre-washing the car, some of that stuff splashes onto it, and you could often find those little mounts would rot. So you'd spray that onto this when you, assuming there's no rust on it, you know, and it will help stop it from rusting. It's also safe on painted surfaces, guys. You obviously don't use this on painted surfaces, but if you do get some on there, just wipe it off, that's fine. The next thing, guys, how good is this product? You know, is it an amazing product? Should you go and buy it? Is it awesome? Do you need it? Well, I'm not going to sit here and do kind of sexy shots, and I do try and do sexy shots because it's just nice to do sexy shots in videos and stuff like that, but this isn't going to make things shine or glossy or make things look cool. It's a protection product, so you could argue it's not sexy, it's pretty boring, but it's also very important. I've had this for a few months now, and I've used it once, and I did it properly on the 140 and jacked it all up. I had the wheels off. I think I did it when I was doing the wheel arch stuff, and I put it all in the wheel arches and all underneath, and I took the time to really go in there and, you know, go Rambo mode with it, because I just thought, you know, the more I can get in there, the better. I don't know what the underneath of the car is like. I haven't looked, but I wouldn't know anyway. I'd be making it up as I go along if I tell you. I sprayed it on the underside of my car, and it now looks amazing, like new. Well, it's not gonna work like that, as you kind of understand. I will say, I think it has a noticeable difference. The main thing you will notice with rust when you're generally cleaning your car or oxidization is whenever you get chemicals on your brake discs, you know, they can turn brown very rapidly with certain acids and even some of these caustic alkalines. Now, one thing I've noticed is that when the last time I washed my car, my brake discs still go a little bit yellow, but it seems to be a slower process, and it's not going as brown as they were. So I think it's done something on there. The hub part of the brake disc, which is the reason I was interested in this, they get really messy on these 140s, and they're still looking good. I'm staring at it right now from after when I did that wheel arch video and kind of polished them all up, and then you know, then treated it all and all that sort of stuff. So you're taking a leap of faith with this, guys. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's going to just transform rot into gold. As I've mentioned, it's not that sort of product. It's a prevention product. But in terms of pedigree, Bilt Hamber have got it. You know, their products work. So that should hopefully be enough if you're interested in doing this on your car. It's very easy to apply, guys. There's no complexity in this. You're just looking for components that you could spray it on, and that is it. The only problem is, to get the most out of it, you really do need to get under the car. And obviously, don't go underneath your car if you just got it jacked up or anything like that. The ideal thing is if it was on a lifter and you can get under there and really kind of clean it all out first, get all the crud and dirt off, and then go under there and treat it properly. But you can do it, you know, by just jacking the car up, put it on axle stands, stay well clear and get under there and do it that way, which is what I've done. So the final thing, guys, is who's going to use this? Well, two types of categories, isn't there? The professional and Joe Public. Joe Public, anyone that knows about rust and is interested in maintaining their car, which is people that are into detailing, are going to see the value in this. You know, the car kind of guy who's got he might have had a classic car in his garage that's sitting there, and straight away, as soon as I talk about it, it will ring an alarm bell and they'll want it and they'll go and buy it. So you get loads of car enthusiasts. Some of those people that might want to do it are guys that just care about their cars. They might even have a daily driver that's getting hammered that cost them 30 or 40 grand, and this will be a good idea to protect the underside of their car with. But with the professional detailers, guys, you often see like these bolt-on packages, you know, like wheel protections, glass protection, various paintwork options. Well, I don't think I've seen one. Well, I'm sure there's one, you know, hold your horses. Someone will say, hold on, I've been doing it for 10 years offering this. But I don't see many offering a rust kind of prevention bolt-on service. Now the chemical cost, not the chemical guys, the chemical cost to a detailer doing this, if you're using about 500 ml of product, is around, what, 75p, a little bit more, a little bit less. But as a bolt-on service, how much could you charge for this? Or how much should you charge? Well, you probably should be charging about 20 quid, shouldn't you? You know, if it takes you 15 minutes, half an hour to do this, or you could take an hour if you're a studio-based one, you've got the lifter, you could really go to town. You could charge more really if you're, you know, spending the time. You know, you're not ripping people off here, but I'd pay at least 20 quid, and if I was doing it professionally, I wouldn't offer this service for less than 20 quid. And I think people would want it, and I'd want it as well. If I'm getting all my paintwork protected, my alloy wheels protected and stuff, then this is probably even more important to go with it, that the whole car is protected, so you know what it does. So I think it's a great product that professionals should look at. So in this video, guys, really the purpose of it is just to let you know about the product. First of all, it's relatively new to market, and the key thing I want to get across, like I've said many times, but it's very important, it's not a rust treatment system, it's not a rust converter, it's not a cure rust or anything like that. Bilt Hamber do those, by the way. It's not like that. It's for preventing or inhibiting the rust from occurring in the first place. So I hope it's cool. Hope you like it. Check it out if you do. I'll drop a link for it in the description. I think the Bilt Hamber prices are all pretty kind of fixed all around the board. I think Imran sells Bilt Hamber. I'm not sure if John does as well. I'll stick links to both those guys in there, and you can get 10% off the price, which is, I think, as cheap as you're going to get it. So that should be good stuff. This is Bilt Hamber. God blimey, look at those eyes. Bilt Hamber. Let's go back a bit. Bilt Hamber Atomac.
Holding on to what I knew, but the moment's gone. Where was I?